Do you remember watching it on TV?
It's still us, Mo and Amy from the Flippin' Fantastic podcast. This is just our behind the scenes where we talk about everything and anything except reselling. Make sure you subscribe and take a listen. Bye.
Do I remember Baby Jessica? Yes, I do.
Mhm.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
I can remember being little and having the TV on and just like waiting, like, oh, like the crowd around the well. And I just remember, being that little, I was like, gosh, she's down there forever. I felt like weeks. Was it? How long was it? Do you remember?
I
How
don't
long was she
remember
down
when it was. Was it
there?
the
Yeah.
90s?
I don't know. Was it I don't know. I was little. Not little, but that's just funny though that I can that's what I can remember, like, I
Oh,
can still see it in my head.
it was 1987. Yeah, I was still in high school.
Oh,
She's
wow.
38 years old now.
Jeez, no more baby. No more baby Jessica.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Because she was only a year old when that happened.
Do you remember what it was? Was it like an open, like, well on the ground, or was it one of those, like, bricked up ones and she climbed in it, like, climbed over the brick wall into the well? Do you remember? Like an open
I
hole?
don't think it was, I think it was it wasn't like an old-fashioned well. I think it was, one of those, like a pipe, you know what I mean?
Like a 12-inch hole, like, in the ground kinda thing?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think. I'm looking on the wiki, but it doesn't say.
That was on the news forever,
It was
seems
hard
like.
to get her out because there was rock around it. So because they were trying to they were trying to dig parallel and then go in, but it was
Oh,
all rock.
it wasn't one of those, like, lower a bucket down and get water, like
I don't think so. I don't
like
think
in
so.
Disney? Wow, she's 38. That just shows how old we are, that she's 38, and we remember that.
It
Oh god.
tells me
Mhm.
tells me what reunion number's coming up soon from high
Oh.
school, and I'm not happy. What?
Do you go to your, school reunions?
Didn't go to I'm usually like helping plan them, but I didn't go to the last one. I think it was one that people did was kind of informal, but my grandmother had passed away. Like it was like the same week. I didn't go.
So if
I don't
the
think
next one's coming up, then your other one was during COVID, right? Like 2000?
but
Or not 2000, 2020.
we even have
Would you graduate? 95? 90? I mean, 80? I don't know.
yeah, that's when my sisters graduated. My baby's sisters graduated from high school. Probably when did you graduate from
No,
high school?
94.
94. Okay, you're a
Mhm.
year older than them. I graduated in 89.
89. Oh, okay. So it's not, so 2019 was your 10th year.
We had a 10. I think we had 20, 20, or was it 20 or 25? We did a big
A big thing.
20.
Shindig.
Yeah, we had like a big thing. A lot of people came. And then the last ones, like people, I mean, a lot of people still live around here and you see them. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I see them all the time. So it was just like, I want to say, was it 30? How old would I have been? 30, 48? Yeah, I think it's when,
2019.
yeah.
2019,
So
yeah.
I didn't go to the last one. So,
I haven't gone to any of them. I just,
no,
I don't know. Matt hasn't gone to any of his either.
you're, I hate high school.
No, I didn't hate high school at all. I liked high school.
I said
I
I.
didn't skip or anything like that, like skip school and stuff like that. I liked it. I did good.
We had a mini reunion when, because I was in band, marching band,
Uh,
band, well, both bands, and our band
yeah,
director, he passed away, and so everybody, like a lot of people we went to the viewing, my sister and I, so I saw
yeah.
a lot of people there, not just people from that I graduated with, other people
Oh,
that
yeah, I guess
they're
that
still around here
everybody.
that
Mhm.
you know, I
What do
don't
you
see
mean
as often.
both? What do you mean both bands?
Well, like symphonic and marching, like I did.
Oh, gotcha. Symphonic. I don't remember ours having a symphonic. I don't remember that name.
Well, that's just the one where,
You sit?
you sit on the stage. Yeah, that was
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I did art in school, so I was always, like, in the art hall, and the band was, like, that hall right next to it because the auditorium
Mhm.
was, like, right there,
Yeah,
so I always heard, like, music class and stuff going on, like, all the time.
yeah,
Like, every art class was always, music,
yeah.
symphonic band going on.
I wish I could have taken art in high school between band. Like I didn't have, do you know what I mean? Didn't have space for it because I
Yeah.
was in band and there just wasn't enough.
Time, right? Nothing.
Yeah. And
I get it.
if you wanted to go to college, you had to take all 4 years of science and which is fine.
Oh,
I like science, but
yeah.
like you didn't have like kids that didn't take certain things would be you could do art or if you weren't in band or and then my mom made me
Who made you up?
I had like a marking period that was going to be a study hall because I didn't have anything and my mom I'm actually glad she did it but she's like no you're not you're taking typing so
Oh
I
gosh.
did I'm
Wasn't that a
glad I did
requisite? Wasn't that a
Hmm,
like a requisite to take, typing?
not then
Oh, really?
not
Wow.
back not back in the 80s.
Gosh.
I'm glad
Okay.
I did. I'm
Mhm.
glad I did. I've seen people that hunt and pack and stuff, and that drives me nuts, but
That's me. That's me, Mo.
you hunt
That's
and
what I
pack, you
do.
don't type? Oh
Mm-mm, I
my
don't type.
god.
Because, I mean, I took it in school because we had to, but then
Mhm.
when I was in college, it was still where you had to buy books. Like,
Yeah,
we
mhm.
didn't have laptops and things like that.
Yeah, neither
I
do
remember.
I.
So I just never typed, and even at my
Oh,
job, like, at the hospital and stuff, I didn't type like, massive amounts of things where I had to, like,
oh,
I mean, I can, like, loosely type, I'm not, like, one fingering, the
okay.
keyboard,
Right,
but
right.
it's like a loose, like, I know where everything
At
is.
least well, if you know where everything is, with some people are like, I'm like,
Oh, no. No, 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 I'm definitely not like that. I just can't do how you can, like, look away and type, like,
"Oh, yeah,
you know
I can do that."
Oh, I can't do
Yeah.
that. I mean, I would probably have to practice again to do that.
I don't ty I mean, I don't sit here and type as much as I used to. I used to be able to type really fast, like
Oh,
80,
really?
90 words a minute. I don't think
Jeez.
I can do that now.
No.
Even in college, like when you took your freshman English course,
Yeah.
one of the classes, they took you to the computer
Mm.
lab.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. But it just
And
wasn't,
that
like,
was back in the
heavily, like,
right. But
used.
so everything, we typed everything up in college. And that was also where were you PC or were you Apple? Because it depended on the class. Which computer lab? It was just like the luck of the draw what computer lab they took you to. And I happened to go to the PC, but some people went to the Apple. I'm glad I didn't go to the Apple because I did use Apple a couple times back then because I was a geography major and there was some like programs on Apple for like map making stuff and you had to use them and they always back then, oh, they were trash. And the PCs though were all there was no interface. It was all DOS
Oh my god,
commands.
yeah. The one in
And
our
you had to take your floppy disk and get it
Yeah,
scanned
I
when you
remember
walked in
yeah, I remember that
for
in high
virus.
school. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, it's flooding back. I do remember using computers in high school because you had to buy your floppy disks at the beginning of the year or something and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You I do
And we didn't
gosh,
have them in high school. I learned to type on an electric typewriter.
yeah, me
Click,
too.
click, 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 ding.
Yeah,
Tick,
ours
tick.
wasn't like a computer. It was definitely yeah, yeah. Why how did I block all that out? I guess we did have computers and I just don't remember it. Jeez, Mo, that's crazy. I guess it wasn't I guess it wasn't just as heavy, like I wasn't taking a laptop to college and stuff like that. And I
You
went
know,
to
we didn't have that. We didn't have that.
and like right out of high school, like when I went to college, it was for art. So I can tell you the kind of watercolors I was using and the
Well,
paintbrush
that's
numbers.
awesome. So, you remember how I taught at the same school that I went to, the middle school? And
Uh-huh.
so some teachers were still there from when I was a kid, and the
Uh-huh.
art teacher was still there. And right like a year before she retired, she was cleaning stuff out and she found like two things of mine
Oh my
that
god,
she had and she gave them to me.
that's so funny.
And I took like summer art classes and stuff. But see, like I said, I wasn't able to fit any art classes in my schedule in high school. I
That's
would like to
cool.
see some of your
I,
art, Amy. Is it hanging up in your house?
there is there's some somewhere. There's like but, it's kinda like a I do this thing for, like, our family well, I did, I haven't done one in a while. I would draw a picture of all 3 of us, well, and our 2 dogs as li I would do it, like,
Mhm.
every 2 years, so as my kid was growing up,
Yeah.
he would be
Uh-huh.
bigger. I'll have to show you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll,
Aw.
send a picture and then you can put it up on
Yeah.
the screen. But,
Uh-huh.
the last one, it still needs to be finished, but it's past what he was doing at that point in his life. But I kept all of them. I just keep putting the new one in front of
Right.
it. But it's like a little
Mhm.
watercolor of
Mhm.
well, it's like a cartoony picture, but it's all of us with the dogs and stuff. It's really cute. And then I've got, paintings that Matt has at his work. They're like of, sailboats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
He has 2 of those at his work hanging up, but and then I've got, like, my
Cool.
portfolio still from school,
Yeah.
like my
Mhm.
college portfolio of all my artwork and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, I
That's
remember
awesome. That's
when
awesome.
we had to do driving class, I did, like, it at a private place, and you had to do a piece of artwork or whatever. You had to do a poster, and it was basically like some kind of a poster for, like, safe driving, and I drew a black and white picture 'cause I was still in high school. I did a black and white picture of, like, the side of a girl's face, and then I
Mhm.
made it look like there was glass shattered on it and the title said, "Don't break a pretty face, wear your seatbelt," or something like that, and it was still hanging up, like, years and years later. Because I remember they were like,
That's awesome.
did you draw this?" I was like, "Yeah, it didn't take me long because I copied, like, an art project that I was already working on, so it was just kind of,
Right.
like, easy for me to do it. I feel like now when I look at that stuff, I'm like, "There is no way I can draw that stuff," but I was like, "Well, I guess I did. I did draw that," but it's just kind
I
of like
know.
it's just hard to
Yeah.
believe that
I know
I
how I yeah. If you
mhm,
haven't done it for a long time, you're like, "What?" Like,
yeah.
even, like, the stupid stuff I drew when I was little, I'm like, "Could I draw that now?" You don't practice.
I
I want
have
to.
I have a picture
I'm
of
gonna take class.
a Mickey Mouse
Mhm.
that is in my, like, not my baby book, but, like, stuff where you're like, mom would keep all of your arts and,
Yeah.
certificates and things, and
Right.
I drew it when I was 5 years old, and
Mhm.
it's just like a outline picture of Mickey Mouse's
Right.
face, but
Uh-huh.
it looked so good that I was just like, "Oh," like, when
For
I did
5,
it
right?
now
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like,
5
"Oh
years
my god."
old. I was like, "Oh my god, I guess I was drawing it because I wanted to be an architect. I took art and drafting,
Uh-huh.
in architectural classes in high school, and of course, I took AP art, and I'm kicking myself for taking it because I mean, I passed the AP exam, but I think we had
Mhm.
talked about this personally, but it didn't give me enough credit that my college didn't accept it. Stuff on the AP test we didn't learn in my class because my class was literally all art. There was only 13 kids in our class,
Right.
and it
Uh-huh.
was all art. We just had art projects. We didn't have, like, vocabulary and, like, I don't even remember what was on the AP test because clearly it's not drawing. You're not drawing on an AP exam for art, you know? But
Yeah.
we didn't learn
It
any of that stuff.
I can't pretend to know a lot about it, but because I didn't teach high school, but kids do portfolios. It's like a whole ridiculous thing. I remember when it was like, "Oh, here," you'd go to the counselor for your next year's classes, and they're like, "Oh, you have straight E's in English, take AP English." And I'm like, "Okay." Basically, it was just honors English. It wasn't I didn't take the exam
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because I didn't wanna spend the money.
Yeah, I think it was like 80
And I
bucks
was like and it was
then.
like, "Well, you still have to take freshman English." And I'm like, "Well, then what's the point?"
I know.
Like, if
Well,
it got me out of, like, freshman English, I woulda done it.
the only thing that was cool about my, AP art class was It was the same art teacher that I had all through, through high school. So
Yeah,
he picked and choose the kids that he wanted to be in it. Like, would you benefit from this AP class? So
right.
he said we knew everybody because we had been going through school together or
Yeah.
art class together. And it just looking back, it was such an eclectic group of kids. Like today, it wouldn't be eclectic, but then it was super eclectic. He
The
said,
Breakfast Club.
it was the Breakfast Club, and he said, "Now this is like a college class, so, you can come and go as you please, long as you're doing your assignments." 'Cause, he was like, "Some of our assignments, you could go to the beach and draw, waves and
Oh,
stuff like
wow,
that."
yeah, uh-huh.
So, we were allowed to come and go as we please, which was kinda cool. I don't think I took advantage of that at all, really, 'cause he also took us on, like, field trips, 'cause he was part of the, God, what was it? What was it called? We were in the art club, and we would do, like, a sandcastle contest and stuff, and I remember we would go
Mhm,
to the beach and practice our, sandcastle and stuff like that, and
mhm.
it was kinda cool, and I loved this art teacher because he was a Navy SEAL. He was a retired Navy SEAL,
Yeah.
and he would tell us stories, and I was like, "Oh my god." And I'm just looking back, and he was, like, in a book and stuff that, like, because he was on one of the elite SEAL teams, and he would tell us
Oh, wow.
stories and stuff, not, like, confidential stuff, but he would just tell us
Right,
stories, and it
right.
was just kinda
Yeah,
cool.
uh-huh.
And then
That's funny.
he brought the book in that he was in so we could see it, like, all the pictures and stuff when he was, like,
Yeah.
young, you know?
It makes me think of Bob Ross, Happy Little Trees. Because he was in the army or whatever. He was one of the ones that always yell like a drill sergeant or
Oh,
something. He was something
really?
like that. You know, the one that's always yelling at you?
Oh. Oh, that's weird. I would
And
never
yeah, and he said and that's what I read is like he didn't want to yell at
anymore.
so he was like, "Ah."
Oh,
When
wow.
I was still teaching, he was I mean, he's been for a while now, like, because you can find all his videos, like, on YouTube and stuff, but,
Mhm.
like, my last year or 2 of teaching, the kids were so into that. They'd be w if they had, like, time like, what are you watching?" And they're, like, watching Bob Ross paint.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. They're watching, like, PBS. Isn't that where that was, on
Yeah,
PBS?
he was on PBS, uh-huh.
Oh my
But he
gosh.
was I don't I guess he's just so calming and, like, it's like that kinda like an ASMR kinda thing for him, I don't know, because 'cause they're always screaming, kids, so
They're, like, clipping, memes out of it and stuff so they can, like,
probably.
make stuff.
No, but they were like, what are you doing?" I'm watching this guy paint." I'm like, "Oh my god, you're watching Bob Ross."
That's funny. That's so because I never watched did you watch Bob Ross at all, like, on PBS? Like,
I mean,
maybe
I
when
knew
you
who
were
he was.
yeah,
You turn him on sometimes. It was one
yeah,
of those this was back in the day where nothing else was on.
yeah. That was, like it was one of those, like, I'm
You had
sick.
no choice.
I
Yeah,
sw
it's sick and Bob Ross is all that's on right now.
I
Price is Right
swear
doesn't come on for another hour.
I swear the only things that I remember being on when I was sick was Price is Right, of course, and Star Trek. Star Trek? Is that the name of it? Star Trek? And
Mhm.
I never watched it. I didn't like it. I wasn't interested in it, but I was always like, "Oh, Star Trek. Oh, so stupid." I was like
Amy!
I was like, "Where's Gem and the Holograms? Isn't that coming on soon?" The Smurfs, I love the Smurfs, or I
Yeah.
love the Muppet Babies. I like the Muppet Babies too. Oh my gosh, I was reading some stuff from, like, news this week, and, the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens had, like, this showing or whatever of this corpse flower, and I was just like, "What?" I don't even know how big it is, I can't really tell by the picture, but
It's pretty big, yeah.
I thought it was funny because people said it smells like feet, cheese, and rotten meat,
Yep.
and
There's a
I was just
picture.
like, "What in the world?" And the funny thing is, Mo, see how that girl's, like, covering her nose in the
Yeah.
picture? I thought that was funny.
So we have like a botanical garden thing really close by here. It's called
Uh-huh,
Longwood Gardens. You know, it was all DuPont, like everything's all DuPont stuff. You would like it because it's all green thumb stuff.
uh-huh.
But they have one there. They have one there. I've never smelled it, but I've seen it. I've never seen it when it blooms or whatever.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it looks like a deflating.
Yeah, it does. It's very,
It's like
phallic.
it looks like it looks like
Looks like what?
it looks like the it's deflating and the condom's just like sagging
Oh,
off.
you're right. It does.
But I guess when
Oh
it
my god.
after it blooms and then it starts to shrivel. Here's a picture of it.
I wish I could tell how big it was from, you know.
There's
Oh,
it's
oh,
pretty
oh,
big.
oh, it
So
is
this
because
is
there's a
before it starts to deflate.
wow.
Yeah, it's always they always have it like you'll always see a news story around here when it's like when it's stinking, when it
Oh
starts
my
to, I
gosh.
guess, bloom or die off or whatever it does
It's
when
off
it starts to
gassing.
smell. Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow, that's I can't even imagine smelling that. Mm-mm-mm.
Should grow one in your backyard
Sweet. In
with all your
that
other
next year's
stuff.
garden. I'm gonna write that down. Corpse.
Corpse.
Corpse thing.
I
Corpse flower.
it needs to be it's in the like greenhouse in the really, in the warm part.
Then
It
the
yeah,
jungle
the
fear.
heat and the humidity. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of corpses, Mo, it's time for Biden watch. So Mo, have you seen Biden in town lately or at all?
No.
Okay. And with that, stay sassy, guys.
Thanks so much for watching and check out more of our videos right here. Stay sassy.